Welcome to the gorgeous but the difficult to traverse northeast. Our drive takes us from Guwahati on the banks of the mighty Brahmaputra all the way to Arunachal Pradesh. Our destination there, Tawang in the high Himalayas. And what's special is that we are doing it in Porsche's new Cayenne Coupe. The stunning monastery town of Tawang is a hidden gem situated at 10,000 feet in Arunachal Pradesh. It's snowbound for most of the winter and unreachable, but not anymore. And here's why. That is the Sela tunnel, the world's longest twin-lane tunnel above 13,000 feet. Built by the Border Roads Organization at a height below the snow line, the Sela tunnels give all-weather access to Tawang and the upcoming Arunachal Frontier Highway. Cut straight through the mountains so you don't need to drive further up to the snowbound Sela Pass. The tunnels are approximately 2.5 kilometers long, one approximately a kilometer long and the second one 1.5 kilometers long. The second longer tunnel also has a parallel safety tunnel that runs the whole length. The tunnels are expected to cut travel time by approximately an hour and a half. Now finding the right car for this road wasn't easy. It had to be able to tackle bad roads, and that's why it had to be an SUV. But it also had to be agile, fun to drive, and that's why we chose this Porsche Cayenne. Now Porsche's new Cayenne Coupe is one of the sportiest looking SUVs around. The new nose makes it look more frog-eye and Porsche-like. The sporty roofline has a similar effect. And I just have to say, I love those fat rear tires. But enough chit-chat, let's get going. Our route starts on the banks of the mighty Brahmaputra and Guwahati. We follow the river north to Tezpur and then access Tawang by taking both the new Nechipu tunnel and the Sela tunnels, avoiding the higher Sela Pass. The drive to Tezpur is a mix of good driving roads and some not so good sections. But just before Tezpur, we turn left and across the massive Brahmaputra. It's around 3.5 kilometers wide and we drive across via the Kolia Bhomora Setu. The expanse and scale are just magnificent. An early start the next day via our hotel in a botanical garden has us stop to admire the beauty of a local tea estate. And then we drive along the Nameri National Park and Tiger Reserve. A couple of hours later, we cross into Arunachal Pradesh and then the real climb begins. The Porsche is proving to be a great companion. Comfortable, capable of taking back roads in its stride and loads of fun. For its 21-inch wheels and air suspension, the ride is pretty comfortable. There is an edge, however, at low speed, but once you get up to highway speeds like we are on this road, it's really comfortable and takes the bumps in its stride. The surprising bit is that some bad patches apart, the driving roads here are pure nirvana, and they often allow me to enjoy the Cayenne Coupe's zingy 353 horsepower engine. And as soon as I see a nice section, I switch to Sport, and that really allows me to drive them a bit harder. The chassis tightens up, it doesn't pitch or roll as much, and it really does feel much sportier than in the normal setting. As we go higher, we get dark rain clouds, and then we cross the recently opened Nechipu tunnel. As we exit, we drop into dense cloud that all but blots out the sun. Needless to say, with near zero visibility, it's nerve-wracking. Further up, apart from some stunning views and alpine forests with peaks popping out amongst the clouds, we get some other obstacles. The roads suddenly narrow, and then we get into a long jam in the village of Dirang. A bypass is desperately needed here. As we go higher and the altimeter rises, I really start enjoying all the performance and grip of the Cayenne. This despite the fact that we are nearing the Sela region and are at around 11,000 feet. Performance is still strong on the Porsche, but it does take a bit longer to get going. Now, what makes this engine so perfect for a drive like this is that it's got a lot of punch in the mid-range, it likes to rev, and it's also pretty responsive. Except at this altitude, when you put your foot down, there's a bit of a delay, a bit more lag. Like that. I get so lost in enjoying the car, I almost miss the turn-off. Now normally we would have carried on up this road and over the Sela Pass at 13,680 feet. Today, however, we can avoid that route and go straight through the tunnels. And that is the access to the Sela tunnel. It's 7 kilometers versus 11, but it's not the distance or the height, it's the fact that this road is likely to be open the whole year. It won't get snowbound, and that's the beauty of it. As we get onto what looks like a closed road and drive further up, the views get even more stunning. Then we see it, portal 1 of the tunnel. Wow, the BRO really seems to have gone straight through the mountain. We stop and pick up a passenger. Dinesh Ramteke is BRO's executive engineer, a man who knows all about the tunnels. He says it took 50 engineers and 500 workers to build these tunnels, and that was through the difficult COVID years. Other challenges include howling winds, clouds that enter the tunnel, and in winter the temperature drops to -20. It gets so cold, concrete doesn't set. Can you imagine that? The first tunnel is a shorter one, but just getting in, knowing we are saving upwards of an hour, is such a thrill. So we're finally here. This is the Sela tunnel, and it's going to save a whole load of time for people traveling up to Tawang and beyond. Further up, we stop to take a closer look inside. We learn how BRO's engineers had to deal with shifting rock, water seepage, and how a wire mesh and rock bolting were used to keep the tunnel safe. And what's incredible is that we're the first to drive straight through both tunnels all the way to Tawang. For a wider perspective, here's the Director General Border Roads, Lieutenant General Rajeev Chaudhary.
So you see, Atal tunnel took exactly 10 years to make, and it is 9 kilometers or so. And this tunnel at 1.5 kilometer and another 1 kilometer, so 2.5 kilometer was made in flat in 2.5 years. And we learned a lot from Atal tunnel, and that we applied in construction of Sela. So we could speed up, and at times the peak speed of digging was 120 meters from one portal, so 240 meters in per month from both the attack points. Sela is cutting down the time of travel by approximately 1.5 hours or so. And it is very strategically important for the security forces which are deployed across in Tawang sector. Also, it is very essential and very advantageous to the locals, and more than that, for the tourists who are eager to go to see Tawang Monastery and other places.
Reaching Tawang still takes upwards of an hour and a half. Then finally, Arunachal's hidden gem, Tawang. And its famous monastery, known as Garden Namgyal Lahatse, garden means paradise. It's been here since 1681, spreading the message of peace. And as I walk in, I do feel I've gone back 350 years. Come, take a look.